When I wanted something really badly, I know at first I had my old cell phone, the first cell phone I got. It wasn't a camera phone. I could just really just call someone and they could call me. And I wanted something that could take pictures and I could send pictures back and forth and videos back and forth to my friends. And so I went out and I got this phone actually. My aunt bought it for me. And when I got it, I could finally take pictures. And at first I really, oh, this is really cool. But after a while, it just kind of died down and just kind of got really old and I didn't really care about it as much. Probably about maybe 2 or 3 months after I had my cell phone, I didn't really, not that I didn't care about it anymore, but I just really only use it just to call people and not so much to take pictures or take videos. I kind of saw the light after once I started getting different things like cell phones and pocketbooks and realizing that after a while you don't really care about those things that much and it doesn't make you happy anymore. If you put all your time and effort into buying the latest Craze things or whatever, you eventually aren't going to use those things after a while. They're going to become outdated. You're going to want to find the latest thing again, and it's going to end up not being enough for you. But if you look to other people and you look inside yourself, that stuff never becomes outdated. You're going to be able to build on those types of things instead of just buying the new cell phone and then a year later you want a new one. Or buying the new game system and then 6 months later here comes a new one and you have to buy that one. That's never going to be enough for you. If you look inside yourself and you look to other people, those are the types of things that will start to become enough for you and you'll be able to grow based on those types of things.
What is it about some of these latest fads and products which make them so hard to resist?
Well, I think when they're advertised, the companies, they use these big flashy things, pictures, names, and action scenes from movies or something to advertise and to make them seem like, oh, it's really cool.
Oh, and also I think they use celebrities and good songs and they show only the good stuff. They don't show the bad stuff.
And advertising companies have, spent time and money for years trying to understand what it is appeals to the youth of America.
Also, like when you see your friends have something, that's kind of like, oh man, they have it, now I gotta get it. Like, so even not like the marketers themselves, just people that you see in your everyday life.
And on the commercials and the advertising, because they always use that catchy jingle or somebody having fun doing the thing that you want.
The ads definitely try to make you feel like you have to have it, and if you don't have it, you're going to feel left out because everyone else is going to have it. So they make you want to buy the product.
And I know, like, with the athletes nowadays, they're paid to wear, like, certain names. Like, Tiger Woods, he's paid to wear Nike. So, like, golfers will be like, oh, Tiger Woods, he's this great golfer, you know what I mean? If I get Nike, I'll be as good as Tiger Woods. I'll be great.
Even in like Project Runway, like when they say like the bluefly.com wall, they say it 15,000 times so that you're like bluefly.com. Like I actually looked at bluefly.com because I never heard of it before. And even like on the clock that they show, it's like Timex. Like everything, every little way they can get themselves in there.
Yeah, like celebrities are everywhere with their little cell phones, who has what cell phone, and every time you're just like, whoa, I can have the same phone as this person, you know? So how do we prevent getting caught up in the latest consumer craze?
And curb our desires to buy the latest and the greatest.
How can our faith help us with this?
That's what we asked the teens on the street.
Let's check it out.
Does your faith guide you in any way when you may get caught up in the latest craze?
Yes, because I have to think about what I need more. Like my family would need a lot more things than like a new iPhone or anything like that.
I guess so in a sense because it's what's out there is not always going to be there. Like what you can afford or what's needed for you should be there. Material things don't really mean anything in the end.
When you think about it, you know that some things are more important than products.
I think so because it's not really about material objects. It's as long as you have love in your family and from your friends, then you shouldn't need the new gadgets.
Sometimes when I'll see people in need, and then I'll have something that I know that I don't need, and then I just spent money on, and I'll be like, oh wow, that could have helped someone else, but instead I'm getting entertained.
Prayer can help you because if you pray for like a new thing, it can maybe help you get over it, telling you you don't need it, you can do better things around the world and everything else for you to be happy.
Pray is a good thing. It's a positive situation, and if you get caught up in that's like addiction. Like you always need something. If you get caught up in the wrong thing, then you don't get done what you needed to get done for you. Say if you have bills to pay or something, why would you go out and get an iPhone if you have to do something else?
When you decide, I don't need this, but this is more important, you could pray about it.
If you believe deeply in prayer and have faith, then if you put your mind to it, then you can overcome your addiction to it or whatever.
It can really help when you just put your mind to it and you sit there and pray. Usually good things happen when you do that.
I guess it just grounds you and just makes you realize to be thankful for what you have instead of trying to get things to make you happy.
In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 19, Jesus tells us,
"Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and decay destroy, and thieves break in and steal.
but store up treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor decay destroys, nor thieves break in and steal.
For where your treasure is, there also your heart will be."
Next, Joelle tells us why she puts her relationship with God above any material possessions.
And that her true treasure is her relationship with God.
Yes, my faith does help me when I get caught up in the latest craze, because then I start to realize this isn't going to bring me true happiness. Being with God is what's really going to help me to be happy in my life and to be successful, not getting the new telephone or the new pocketbook. Personal happiness that I find without materialistic things is I'm able to be more in touch with God, and I'm able to, put those things aside and just sit with myself instead of sitting with my phone or sitting with the television or buying new clothes. I'm able to look inside myself and find personal happiness without those things in my life, and just have time for me by myself, or have time to talk to God and find happiness that way. I feel like these gadgets take away from our time with God, because we start to put aside praying and put aside going to church in exchange for watching television or listening to our iPods or playing with something that we just got from the toy store, or trying on new clothing, or going to the store to buy new clothing. "The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing that I lack" is one of the scriptures that I think of when I start to become consumed in buying the latest craze. And when you're with God, there's nothing that you lack. But if you're at the store or you're trying to buy new things, you feel like there are things that are lacking, and you feel like there are things that you want. You don't need to look to those things for stuff that you're lacking. Just look to God, and there's nothing else that you need. If you're with Him, you're set.
I love that. The Lord is my shepherd, so nothing I shall lack. It's so true, because you don't have to have any possessions to have something. God is always there. He'll always be there. So what advice do you have on how to put God first, and how our faith can help us to not fall for the latest craze?
I think as long as you realize that God gives you what you need and that you don't really need anything else, it'll just help you to kind of let go of those material things.
Well, yeah, I agree with her. I believe that these things right here, they won't give you anything, but God can give you something. The best things in life are free: life, friendship, and love.
I do agree. I think it's important to understand that we don't need material possessions. We have all we need from God. For instance, in the Bible, they talk about the flowers of the field not wanting, not needing anything but what they have from God. They don't have clothes. They don't have fancy objects like we do. We don't need that to sustain life. All we need is what we have from God.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Look at Adam and Eve. God originally created us, where we didn't need anything. Adam and Eve didn't have clothes. And then when they ate the apple, we fell into the trap of original sin. So, I don't think God intended for us to be going after all these material goods. He just wanted us to have Him to fill us up.
And also, if you're really struggling with something, just pray and be like, please, God, don't let me fall victim to this new phone or these new shoes or whatever it may be in your case.
Yeah, and it reminds me of the time of Moses, because when they were traveling through the desert for 40 years, whenever they needed something, God provided. When they needed water, Moses struck the rock and God provided water. When they needed food, they woke up, there was manna and quail everywhere. And it was just God provided them with what they needed, not with things that they wanted.
Prayer is a powerful tool for us.
It can help us in our relationship with God, and also give us the strength to fight temptations.
Next, Joelle tells us how prayer helps her fight temptation to get caught up in the latest craze,
and how her faith inspired her and her twin sister to forego flowers at their church for their Sweet 16 service and donate the money to a couple of church ministries.
Prayer can help me fight the temptation of consumerism, because I can ask God for help when I start to feel like, oh, I need to get this, I need to buy something. I can start to ask God for help to, maybe cut back on the things that I really want to buy, or cut back on things that I don't really need and spend my money maybe helping someone else to get things that they actually do need and not the things that I want. For my Sweet 16, we were going to get flowers to to decorate the church, but instead we had sat down and talked about that for a while, and it was going to be kind of expensive. So what we did instead was we donated money to the soup kitchen at our church and a daycare center at our church instead of decorating the church where we had the ceremony for my party with flowers. It made me feel really good because I realized you don't really need things to for yourself. That wasn't something that was a necessity to have flowers in the church, but a necessity for other people. They need food to survive. They need to come to the soup kitchen and get things that they need for everyday life. And kids at the daycare center, they need that help every day to go there, their parents to send them there, and it made me feel really good that I was able to help these people that were truly in need. If I had to give advice to someone who was really attached to materialistic items or someone who was thinking about buying something, I would say, maybe not necessarily don't get it, because if you really want it and you can afford it or you saved your money up to get it, then you deserve to have it. But don't necessarily look for happiness in those things. You should look to other people or look inside yourself or look to your family for true happiness.
I really want an iPod. I don't have one, and I prayed to God about it because I was just like, God, I don't know what to do. Should I save up my money for it? Should I ask for it for Christmas? But God helped me realize that my cell phone is also an MP3 player, so I don't need the iPod. And He just helped me realize that you don't need something that you really want. You only need stuff that you need, if you know what I mean. You need stuff to help you live and the necessities, shelter, food.
And then with things like video games and stuff, you always got to look deep down and realize that there's going to be the newer, better model in 6 months or so.
I think, like Matt said, it's important to realize the difference between need and want. And once you realize that, it'll be a lot easier for you to be close to God and move away from the material possessions.
But also you can look to God to help you discover what the difference between needing and wanting something actually is.
I do think prayer and reflection are a key role in understanding that, I think.
And we learn as we get older. It's not always constantly what you want. I know personally, when I was little, it'd always be you'd see a commercial and be like, oh, I want that. I need that. But I've grown now. I've gone from having book bags and book bags of Beanie Babies to donating my money to something more useful instead of buying more stuff.
Remember that how we earn, spend, and share speaks volumes to our commitment to living an ethical life and Christian charity.
We live in a world of temptations, vices, and jealousy.
Which is why the 10th commandment, not to covet your neighbor's possessions, is so hard to follow.
As Christians, we are called to banish our desires and to conquer the materialism that can stall our right relationship with God and a life of discipleship.
How does your faith keep you from being caught up in the latest craze?
We'd like to know. Contact us through our website.
The address is www.realfaithtv.com.
Or you can call us at 609-406-7402.
And remember,
fads will come and go like the wind,
but God's love never ceases.
So put all of your trust and faith in God our Father and Creator, who loves us without conditions.
And you will find true and lasting happiness.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV.
God bless.